Hello and welcome. I'm Adam. This is highly articulated. This is highly articulated, but this is open late. We're this specific thing we're doing open late. I'll get that right one of these times. Tonight, I've got a couple SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures, one from GT, one from Dragon Ball Z. If you're not familiar with these characters, I forgive you. The GT characters, I think, aren't super popular because GT wasn't that popular. Although I think if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you've probably watched it. Boo, I think, is probably a little bit more popular. By all accounts, from sort of all the reviews, this guy is a fantastic figure. I haven't actually seen any reviews for this guy yet. I'm late to the party getting it. I know that other people have reviewed it and such, but that's why the show is called Open Late. I'm behind, and it's late in the evening here, so it's the double meaning. Get it? Anyway, Super Boo, I'm really excited about. I've been slowly trying to get some of the main sort of baddies from Dragon Ball Z, and he is definitely one of the cooler ones. Just overall, well, we'll get into it when we get into it. Vegeta is one of those ones where whether you love or hate Dragon Ball GT, the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is just a really cool design. If you're not familiar with it, like I said, I'm not surprised. Basically, they kind of revert a little bit to their ape forms, which it is what it is. I understand why people don't love GT. But anyway, let's very quickly check in with the comments. Quip says, "You're..." One of these days, I'm gonna have to find out where that comes from. I don't know where that comes from. I see that often, but as a West Coast, middle of nowhere living person, I have no idea what that means. Masterversal Toy Hunter is with us. Good evening. Good evening to you, good sir. Masterversal just finished with his live, so just in time to see this. You just did a live Masterversal Toy Hunter Eldor. I'm not gonna lie, there's like 37 live toy tube videos going on right now between Holothon and Mythic Legion stuff and Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, not to mention the fact that the first episode of season 3 of Mandalorian is on, so everybody's doing their episode 1 reviews. So I genuinely appreciate that anybody is here watching. Austin says, "Boo." Indeed. Neverland Charlie, GT is awesome. I agree. And yes, this is Charlie. I'm here for the imports. I'm here for the imports too. It's funny because most of what I collect isn't an import, but I build like Gundam models and I collect some SH Figuarts, primarily the Dragon Ball stuff. And there's a whole bunch of good Dragon Ball stuff coming very soon that I'm really looking forward to as well. So I'm going to do more of these reviews when I get more of those figures, but I just tend to have more of other figures because these just don't get as many releases. This is sort of a new one. This is a re-release too. So again, I'm late twice in some sense because this is the re-release that came out a while ago. The other one I think came out a couple years ago. I think it was a 2021 release. So anyway, Quip says, if I were to get in on SH Figuarts Dragon Ball, I definitely do the Boo and Piccolo figs. Yes, this one is amazing. From everything that I've heard, we'll find out soon enough whether I agree. I'm pretty sure I'm going to agree. I have low standards. The weird thing is the good Boo or innocent Boo. I don't like it all. I don't like the design. I don't like the character. I just don't like him. So I didn't get that one. This one I really wanted. Same goes for like First Form Cell, First Form Frieza. Like I I don't like them till they're like fully powered up, till they're kind of like at their max sort of chaotic destruction level. I'm trying to think of an exception to that, but I don't think there is one. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, all the villains, I like the final forms, but Master Versa says, indeed, a lot going on there. When I had to check something because I had to adjust one of the sort of description things for the video, and it was like my page was lit up with live videos, and I was like, oh man, people are going to be burnt out before. Austin says we got to talk about all those legends reveals soon. Yeah, well, we'll do that. I won't do that tonight. That's it. I mean, there's 8 videos talking about that right now too. Quip says Ur is just a variation of you heard from New York, popularized by Jesus and Ur. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, if I had to guess, I would have probably guessed something like that. Oz is here as well. Charlie says blasphemy, Frieza above all, especially small flying Frieza. Okay, I agree, and I'm not. I love Boo and I love Final Form Cell and I love the androids, but Frieza is, I mean, I don't think anybody can really argue. Frieza is the bad guy for Dragon Ball. There's no, it is what it is. Frieza in all of his forms is easily the most relevant, the most prevalent. You know, he's been in the show forever. He keeps coming back. They can't kill him. They do kill him. He comes back. They kill him again. He comes back as like a half robot, half Frieza. Um, he's got a new form in the Super manga, so I think we're probably going to see that come up sooner rather than later in some animated form / SH Figuarts form, which I'm very much looking forward to. Austin says, this Boo is an exception to your own rule. This evil Boo isn't the final form. I disagree. I won't get too deep into it, but this is the sort of final form before he starts de-evolving. Haha. Haha. It is the final form. He starts going backwards. Oz says, I dug first form Cell. I hated the mid-stage Cell. Yeah. Mid-stage Cell, I don't really care for because of his weird mouth. Mid stages of Frieza, I don't care for, especially the weird alien head one. I mean, it's just weird. Some of them, like even Boo, you know, like the evil Boo that's like skinny and gray, is just weird. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of the mid forms. First form, you know, they got to look really, really cool. So like Kid Boo, I think is pretty cool. And then this, which I will argue is final form, whether you like it or not, Austin, looks really cool. And then the stuff in between is weird. Master Versal says, I pre-ordered Mythic Legion's Lige on Big Bad Toy Store. That is a great looking figure. I ordered one of those as well from ecollectibles.ca. Michael is here. He says, hey, what's up, Adam? What's up is this? You're looking at it. One more comment, and then I will get these opened because that's what we're here for. Charlie says, I think by your logic, Super Boo, who absorbed Gotenks and Gohan, would be final. You know, the one with the noses. Yeah, with the vest and stuff. Oh, you're right. Okay, my logic is flawed, but this is the best version. This is the super version. So and Austin says the Super Gohan version of Boo is the final form before he devolves. Yes, okay, I'll give you that. But that was pretty quick. He was in that form pretty. Anyway. Also, I haven't seen it in years. To be completely honest, I haven't seen it in years. And if I'm sort of really putting all my cards out on the table, I'm pretty sure I saw most of it in Japanese, and I've only seen bits and pieces of it with the English. So I'm not even 100% sure what the versions are all called. Because I just heard Japanese that I didn't understand at the time. I understand a bit more now, but Okay, let's get these figures open. Which one should I open first? I think I'm gonna open Vegeta first, just because. All right, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta from Dragon Ball GT. Now, Dragon Ball GT, if you're not familiar, is not canon, believe it or not. Which is too bad because I really like the designs and I kind of understand why it's not canon. It does make some weird choices with some of the characters. I mean, Super Saiyan 4 versions where they revert to kind of ape is a bit weird to start. Goku goes from being an adult to a kid, back to being a kid, and Trunks wears shorts. I I want those figures. I want the adult kid Goku. I want Trunks in shorts. Um, the like kind of casual outfit Vegeta. I would go for that too. And the GT Pan. I would get that as well. I'm here for all of it. Anyway, package wise, we get, Vegeta on the front there, some more action shots and stuff on the side. The same on the back with the very the lovely sort of way they craft some of their words. I'll just point these out because I just think they're funny. Simple style and heroic action. A full array of interchangeable hand and face parts allow for expressive portrayal of the anime. I just love I just love the way that they sort of phrase some of that stuff. And it's certainly not some of the worst versions of English by Japanese people that I've ever seen. So I think this is the first figure that I've gotten that's had this. So they moved away from, and I think it's still in Boo. I think there's still paper instructions in Boo, but they've moved away from the paper instructions and they now just put the sort of instructions for, how to change the face plates. There's too much glare on there. You can't see it very well. How to change the face plates, how to put the tail in, stuff like that on the actual cardboard, which I think is genius because the paper, gets lost or, I feel like I should recycle it. I say that and they still have the little insert, but there's a whole bunch of figures that I either have on order or no, you know what? Now that I realize I've got him, I've got them coming. So anyway, but I like that they've moved away. There's less cardboard. There's no insert in the box anymore. Like the background is just the printed box now, which I like. Less packaging. Not a bad thing. Then, of course, we get the sort of double bubble, I guess, if you will. They do a really good job. This I like because it makes it really, really quick and easy to get these out of the package. I can tilt it up now because he's still got, but I won't be able to show you sort of the full card once I get this plastic off, because as soon as I pull this thing off, everything just comes right out, which is lovely. It's much better than, having to fight every item to get it out of the package. Let's see how much I can tilt this. It's not too bad. Ooh, ooh. So you can see all the spare hands, 5 spare sets of hands, 3 face plates, the tail, and an energy effects. They get these funny little soft plastic little insert things so the paint doesn't rub in the package. It's just that kind of little thing. That attention to detail is really what kind of puts these, into that sort of premium category. I get it. Although price-wise, if you get them from the right place, they're not that bad. But anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and dump all of these out because, as I said, that's kind of how they come out. Now it's an empty tray. So, like I said, it certainly beats having to pull each individual piece out, in my opinion, at least. The other thing that I found with SH Figuarts is most of them come out of the package with pretty good joints as far as nothing's too stiff. You don't feel like you can't pose it right out of the box, which I like. Not that I generally take a lot of time during these videos to pose the figures, but it's nice that I could if I wanted to, I guess. So these, like I said, these little plastic inserts, um, you know, that's how you know that you've got a new figure, or either that or somebody can take the plastic insert out. But that just protects it from paint rub. So I don't know. I don't know whether they have a lot of issues with that or not, but I mean, it is what it is to ship them like that. So I'm happy. His tail. So he gets his tail, which is on a little ball joint. And that just plugs into his tail ball joint port. I don't know what you want to call it. Boom boom port for any Mythic Legions fans. He is much redder than the Goku is. And I actually happen to have Goku right here, so I can show you what I mean. So Goku is almost like a neon pink, whereas Vegeta is, I would say, ketchup red. It's very vibrant. It's still very vibrant. It's just not as bright as the Goku is. He's got his gloves and his boots in sort of the lilac, pretty standard articulation that you'd sort of expect from SH Figuarts. There's a couple issues with the articulation. As I noticed right now, if I bend the knee fully, you do get a little bit of a gap on either side, which is a little bit of a disappointment. Why is this not giving me the light? That's better. You get a bit of a gap on either side. But Vegeta, I'm probably not going to pose him with his leg fully articulated like that. There's also a weird thing at the top of the hip that you can sort of see more on one side than the other, and I don't know if maybe that can be corrected. But it's like the thigh and the hip don't quite line up. It's weird. Maybe it can be fixed. Maybe it can be adjusted. I don't know. It's not going to bother me that much if I'm being perfectly honest. Once he's posed up, he'll be fine. They get a good butterfly joint, so you get good range there. It's just the sort of the way that they've done the paints, the same on the Goku. So the pec sort of continues into the butterfly joint. But the other thing I noticed, which is a little bit interesting, is that his hair is more brown than Goku's. So Goku's got black hair, whereas Vegeta's is sort of a dark brown. But altogether, very nice. The shading on the legs looks really, really good. The paint apps, are great. Like everything's really nice and crisp. Everything looks clean. He's got good ankle rock, which is nice. Some SH Figuarts have like none or very minimal. It's a pain in the butt when you're used to 6-inch action figures that have tons. But anyway, that's the figure. Normally I do the accessories, but because these kind of fall out of the tray, he gets his energy effect, which has a hole in the back, and that is going to match up with, where is it? You get a hand with a peg, so that will just port right on there. And then that way he can hold it and he doesn't drop it. I drop it, but he doesn't drop it. So that's one of his hands. You get, the standard assortment of hands. You get sort of the waving hands or the karate chopping hands. You get another one of these ones, the energy effect hands with the peg on it. Grappling hands. Peace sign hands. I mean, these all have like references. They're all like slightly surprised hands. Jazz hands, maybe? I don't know. And then faceplates. So we get the sort of neutral expression. Well, neutral for Vegeta, which is like resting bitch face, I guess. Then we get sort of equally standard for Vegeta, the smirk, clenched teeth, as well as shouting. So pretty much the like those are, I would say, the standard faces that we get for SH Figuarts figures, especially when it's Goku or Vegeta. They tend to have some selection, some assortment that's that in a nutshell, just about every single time. Let's jump into the comments here very, very quickly. Oh, geez, there's a lot. There's too many. How am I supposed to keep up? Geez, you guys. What was the last one I did? Boss says I'm rewatching Dragon Ball Z with my son now. It is fantastic. I was watching. I actually started with my daughter with Dragon Ball, and she really enjoys it. I took her actually to see the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie in theaters, and she loved it. I can't wait to get that on Blu-ray and watch it again. Comes out, I think, in like 2 weeks. Radical Toys has joined us. What's going on? Oz says we just started Android Saga. Android Saga is my favorite saga in Dragon Ball. I love everything about it. I love the androids. I love Krillin falling in love with an android. I enjoy the the Trunks component to it and sort of the future component. I think it's one of the best sagas that they've pretty much ever done. Although I just watched for the first. I mean, I've been a Dragon Ball fan for a long, long time, but for no reason other than I just didn't get around to it. I hadn't watched Super, and I just finished the Goku Black saga. That's pretty good too. I gotta say, but that could be a recency bias more so than anything else. Michael says, off topic, but unboxing my Alder right now. Did you find your leg joints? Did you find your leg joints so stiff? No, I thought they were fine. You're better have. I honestly, they're better stiff than loose. And Austin says, packing up all those legions for our fellow knights in the north. Austin bought a lot off of eBay just to hook people up. So good on you there. Radical Toy. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to read all the comments. Radical Toy says SH are the best Dragon Ball figures. Love them. Absolutely. When I had the like 3-point of articulation figures in the 90s, I thought they were fantastic just because the designs and the sculpts and stuff like that were just so different than anything that we'd had up till that point. That was sort of one of the first jumping on points for me for like anime, and I thought they were fantastic. Now to get them with like proper articulation, it's just next level. I'll catch up here. Just give me a sec. Oz says Super Saiyan SH SSJ4. I never know what the letters. I know that like SH Figuarts figures like in the collecting community all have like people can see that and know what that means. I still don't know what that means. I got a shelf full of these figures and I have to look at pictures to know what they are. I don't know what that means. I think you mean this figure. I can only assume you mean this figure. It's so beast. Yeah, he's great, man. I didn't expect, so I'll just show this because I didn't know really what to expect from this figure. He's quite a bit smaller than Goku. He's shorter. He doesn't have as much heft to him. And he doesn't look as like animal Goku, I had Goku posed with his energy effect, so that's why he's got his sort of angriest face there. But yeah, he doesn't. He looks more Super Saiyan versus Goku, who looks more beastly, if that makes sense. But Austin says, "I love this Vegeta photo." Yeah. Radical Toys hips are strangely off. Yeah, it's weird. Like it's the first. I don't know. It's weird. It's the first SH Figuarts figure that I've sort of seen it be that obvious and that sort of awkward. But the red fur is sweet. It is. It looks really good, and the texture on it is really, really good. I don't know if that's going to transfer very well on 720 non HD, but Master Versal says, I have a few of the old Dragon Ball Z series on DVD. Yeah, they're fantastic. They're on Crunchyroll. If you are, if anybody, that's North America though. I don't think Eternia has Crunchyroll. Good point. We're always left to wait on Goku. Yeah, that's true. Austin says people crap on the Goku Black Saga, and I don't understand why. It's so good. Who craps? Like I'm late to the party, so I don't know. It's one of those things, like I said, where like there's like a there's like a whole thing where like people just dump on GT too, and until recently when I sort of got into the sort of collector communities, and I was just loving this stuff in a vacuum, and I was just sort of free to love what I loved. I love GT. I still love GT. Like I said, I saw most of it originally in Japanese with no subtitles, so I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if it's written well or not. I still haven't seen the whole series with English, and I still love it. It wouldn't matter. I mean, that's kind of part of it, right? Like you pick like the best anime, you pick the best of the best that people absolutely love, and nitpick it, it all falls apart. None of it is very good. Radical Toy says, I had those 90s Dragon Ball figures too. They're so good, man. I originally got a few like straight from Japan through a friend. And then when they started selling them in North America, I picked up a few more. They were great. Quip, I do feel like these SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures are slept on. The depth of the line definitely rivals NECA Cartoon TMNT. It definitely does. There's tons of these, and I would say that like as far as an action figure goes, the articulation and the posability on these is second to none. I mean, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of lines that are better than Figuarts for articulation and stuff. Master Versal says Crunchyroll, not that I know of. We do have smooth peanut butter. I love peanut butter. Don't get me started on peanut butter and who has what kind of peanut butter. But Kraft peanut butter, smooth, is the best in the world, without a doubt. Okay, let's get into Boo. And then I'm going to, once I get him out of the box, I'm going to change my camera angle to sort of pan down and get a little bit tighter on him. But okay, so Boo in the package, we get, all the standard stuff. Majin Buu Super on there, his name in Japanese as well. We get a picture of his belt. I don't know why specifically his belt, and sort of the full shot there. Some action shot / poses. More descriptions of what's in the box. Of course, it does show Gotenks there, who, of course, fights Super Buu in Dragon Ball Z. He gets absorbed, of course, and then Boo gets the vest and the nose and becomes his final form, I guess. This is interesting. This also comes with an optional head effect part for the good version of Majin Buu. So it comes with a head and an energy effect, which is something that they do, I guess. There's Boo laughing with his head back. They've done a bunch of those. So with the Dragon Ball superhero figure line, I guess, like it's, see, this is what I'm talking about. They used to do an insert, so that was inserted in here. They used to do paper instructions, and then you'd get that insert as well. I'll be honest, that the putting the background, the printed colored background, straight into the box is fantastic. It's way better because I don't have to, you know, mess around and fiddle with more parts or whatever. And again, there he is in sort of all his glory in the tray. I'll pop the tray off and dump all the stuff out. Austin, I see your comment. I'll get that in a second because you're not the first person to say that. All right, I'm going to do accessories first with this guy because that's what I normally do anyway. Like I said, first we get the optional parts for Good Boo, as well as the little energy effect, which is going to pop right on his antenna, which makes for a pretty ridiculous little head sculpt. I think, honestly, if I get enough of these, I'll probably end up with Good Boo as well. I think, oh, sorry about that. I think if my daughter sees that I have Super Boo and figures out that there's Good Boo out there in the world, I may get bullied into getting it. He comes with this sort of open mouth. In the box, we also get the sort of grumpy, frumpy closed mouth, as well as the wide open mouth. Very, very angry. You've got sort of sculpted in some angry veins popping out of his forehead. This one is really well sculpted and really well painted. Very, very nice attention to detail. One thing that I didn't realize until I got it out is that all these little sort of brown dots are recessed. Like they're actually sculpted in there. It's not just a, you know, it's not just a dot of paint. And it's a multi-piece head. So it's different, you know, different plastic for different pieces, which is nice because it means that they pop on and off easier. These aren't going to display very well, are they? Sadly. Oh well. Oh well. Extra hands, we get the open hands. We get fists. The fingernails are all painted, which is nice. That's a nice touch, I think. And then we get sort of like a trigger finger almost, but it's a closed fist. A come hither finger, I guess. Is there a reference to that? Does somebody know offhand? Is there a reason that he would come with that specific hand? I can't remember. I haven't watched it in a while, like I said. A pointing finger, which is always a good accessory. Number one, or pointing, whichever you may need. Austin says, this Boo is the best Figuarts figure, not just Dragon Ball, Figuarts. So across the line. I have heard that from a few people, which was sort of all the more reason that I really wanted to get this figure. Now, as I said, I was lucky enough that it recently, very briefly, it seems like, came up for a pre-order, a re-pre-order. Um, and I jumped at the chance because every review that I'd seen had nothing but good things to say about it. The sculpt, the paint, the articulation, everything. Everybody just raves about this figure. So I thought, you know what? Why not? I'll pick it up, and um, I suspect that I'm not going to be disappointed because if that many people are saying the same thing, right? I'm not going to go through all the articulation because I'm not very good at doing that, and because I miss things or I don't do them in the same order. So, it is what it is. But as far as posability go, I love that he's got these giant hands. Like his arms are pretty skinny, and then he's got these gigantic hands. So this is one thing that everybody sort of talks about, and it's weird from the back. Like his it's not even a butterfly joint. The whole elbow or the whole shoulder socket just sort of comes out of the figure. Um, but it does mean that you can get. I mean, that's way beyond the range of motion that you need. But you can get him to sort of cross. I don't know why you'd need it to go that far, but it does. And then on top of that, like you can get like, yeah, I mean, some of the articulation is like unnatural to a point, but it allows you to get these figures into like ridiculous pose positions, which I never do. I never really take full advantage of them. I I'm a pretty vanilla poser, um, but that's I mean, considering that the neck, right? Considering that there's not much sort of separation, you don't think that you're going to get the ability to look that far back. I mean, he's almost looking straight up, and you can get him to look pretty far down. Like that's pretty good range of motion. I don't know of many figures that you're going to get more, on the neck. Um, he's got multiple sort of pieces to the torso. So he's got an upper torso piece, sort of the mid torso, and then lower. So you're going to get a decent amount. And I don't know. Oh, yeah. So it does have it. There's sort of like he leans forward, but then you can kind of disengage or sort of like pull that hinge up. So again, from the back, not great. From the front, though, you get you fully bend him over. Then he's going to rotate really, really well as well because he's on that ball joint. And as far as the legs go, you got this big, chunky leg with a big, huge knee. And yeah, if you go all the way, you still get a little bit of a gap there, but it's pretty good from most angles unless you're looking for it. It goes out nice and far. It goes up nice and far. It even goes back like in a ridiculous amount that you wouldn't need it to. So yeah, altogether, just tons of articulation. It's got decent amount of rocker too in the ankle. For whatever reason, that's my one gripe about certain SH Figuarts figures is the ankle articulation. But most of them, everything other than the ankle articulation is good. This is gonna be a really, really fun figure to pose. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be a really fun one. There's still a bunch of figures, a bunch of characters that I want. I need a not Kid Gohan because I can't stand Kid Gohan, but I need like that adolescent Gohan. I would really like to get Gotenks as well. As much as people don't like that figure, I still want it because I love that character. Trunks is my favorite. I really want not that it's out, but I would really like them to do Goten and Trunks, kid versions of those. Do it as a 2-pack. I'd buy it. They'd sell one. It would be worth it. Let me tighten this up a little bit here. Tighten this angle up. Boo is really big. He's quite tall, which kind of messes with getting a nice, tidy shot. Although that's not bad. That's not bad. That'll do. But I just said Boo's really big. So that's Boo. His ankles are a little weak, but that's okay. He stands okay. If you get his feet down. Come on, Boo. Don't let me down now with your weak ankles. This surface is also not flat, so that doesn't help. I've got standard Goku, Saiyan raised on Earth. He barely comes up to like his abdomen. This guy's big. Bigger than I expected. Again, I didn't remember him being quite that big in the show. But if he's that big in the figure form, I have no reason to suspect that that's not accurate. Big boy. He's a big boy. Big Pepto-Bismol man. So best figure in Figuarts? Maybe. Like I said, I don't have any that are not Dragon Ball, so I don't know. Just seeing it stand there gets me excited for mine. I totally regret selling it. So happy we got a reissue. Oh, so you've got one coming? Okay. Austin says, I love that Grimace face. Yeah, it's like... It's good. It's a pretty good face. It's really well sculpted. Like, that's the other thing. A lot of these are dependent on the paint that they do for the eyes and for the detail. These are sculpted. The Boo heads are sculpted incredibly well. You might have to settle with a peekaboo, sir. Austin says, the come hither finger, my personal favorite finger. Michael, I'm not into DBZ, but this figure looks good. It is good. I mean, it is good. And that's like a big draw for me for Dragon Ball was the character design and the vibrancy of the colors and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, when I got into Dragon Ball, it was Dragon Ball Z when Dragon Ball Z was current in Japan, and I got, VHS recordings of the show with no subtitles, and I was absolutely enamored with the characters and with the voice acting, because it was so different. Like, if you watch any anime, you know what I'm talking about. The voice acting in anime, it's totally different from any voice acting that we get in North America. Goku's voiced by an old lady, which I mean, just watch it. And it's just, the voices are just weird. They're just different. They're not weird. They're just different. Quip says 100% looks dope. Eldor says, saw a great Boo cosplay here in New Zealand, head prosthetics and all. That would be fantastic. That would be a great thing to cosplay. That would be a really, really fun thing to see. Like full this one, good Boo, innocent Boo, the big giant guy. That would be fun. I mean, I can imagine there'd be a lot of foam involved in that costume. That shoulder, though. Well, here's the thing. Like, it's only like that. Look, I'll show you the figure from the back when I haven't like exposed that joint and exposed that joint. It looks perfectly fine, and you have to pull it out really far to actually get it to do that. And you're never going to do that. It's the same with the back, right? Unless you're going full, hunched over mode, in which case you're probably trying to get a picture or like a shot from the front, right? You're never going to have it like that. Like, you get that much motion without there being sort of any issue with the back. You get that much motion with the shoulder before it actually comes out. So it's not really an issue. It's sort of like SH Figuarts kind of operates the opposite in some respects, kind of operates the opposite of somebody like Super 7, right? Where Super 7 says we want the sort of static figure, the sculpt to be phenomenal, and will sacrifice our articulation for it. SH Figuarts kind of goes, we are going to do both. We want really great sculpts and crazy articulation. And so they're constantly evolving their articulation schemes. Yeah, these are sort of the two. These will work for comparison. Two Gokus, right? So this is sort of the last version that they had, where like there's a whole bunch of pieces at the hip, and he can get like crazy range of motion like Boo can. The sculpt, you know, it is sort of broken up by the articulation. You know, the knee, but like look at the knee. Like the pants are sculpted, and then when you bend it, you lose a little bit of it, but you know, you still retain most of that sculpt. Super 7 wouldn't do that because they don't want the break. They don't want you to be able to see the joints and stuff like that. That's fine. I love Super 7 figures as well, despite that. The more recent version of hip articulation, I was just looking at hip, but like the knees are kind of the same, right? You get texture all the way through the joint, but it's still a double joint. In this case, this is actually a really great example because they actually sculpt, you know, some fabric detail into the knee joint on the inside as well. So this is a really good example of what they can do. But then they made him have sort of more of a butt. There's less pieces because that was sort of something that people had kind of asked for. But now you don't get the leg going back. So you sort of gain something, lose something. You know, there's no perfect articulation schemes, sadly. Although his hair is articulated, so you can get you get articulation. There's the hair piece. These pieces on the side are individually articulated. Anyway, it's just to sort of say that, like, you know, Figuarts articulation is bananas. Stuff like the shoulder, stuff like the back is a little bit like on Transformers. If you don't like some of the greebling, right? If you don't like some of the, there's a name for it for Transformers guys. And if one of you is a Transformers guy, let me know. There's two things that I'm thinking of. There's like when there's bits that are sort of sticking out. There's a name for that. And then when there's bits where there's like an open cavity in a Transformer when it transforms, like where a hand tucks in and they just don't close it up. It's kind of that thing to me. Like, I'm not gonna always have Boo with his shoulder all the way out, and I'm not gonna have his back all the way hunched over, so I'm not really worried about it. Master Versal says, I started a Perfect Cell cosplay once, but I never finished it. I got as far as finishing his head. That would be a cool one. I think Perfect Cell is Frieza to me is the Dragon Ball villain. But Perfect Cell, I think, might be my favorite villain design. I think. I'm very quickly going through the Rolodex of villains in my head. But I love Perfect Cell. Kibble, I think that's right. I think the kibble, so the parts that sort of stick out awkwardly that make it not very streamlined, I think are called kibble. And I think they have a name for when there's sort of an opening in the sculpt. And you know, there's things like the masterpiece line that sort of work to get away from that stuff, but they're way more expensive. So I guess, you know, you get what you pay for. If you want to pay for it, I wouldn't want to pay for it, so I wouldn't like I think the masterpiece line does a good job of getting rid of a lot of that. It's not perfect, but I think, I don't know. I'm not a Transformers guy, so don't. I'm just gonna null these so they look good. Not because I need to, but because I can. Any questions? Anything else you guys want to chat about? We'll go for a few more minutes before we usually go for about an hour, so we're just short of that. I don't know why I do this. Just it's fun for me. Fun's maybe not the right word. Maybe obsessive. So that's nothing. Don't get anything. All right. Well, that's all I got. That's 2 figures tonight. SH Figuarts. I got a few more coming soon, and when I get those, I will definitely unbox them as well. I love these, whether whether people that tune into my channel regularly do or not. I love these, so I'm gonna keep opening them. If you want to skip an episode, there you go. You skip one of those. If you're a G.I. Joe guy, you watch those ones. If you're a Turtles guy, you watch those ones. If you're a Marvel Legends guy, you watch those ones. I think I might do another one of these. I've got a package arriving tomorrow, so I will probably be opening some GI Joes on the next video, and then next week I think I'm going to do the 2 Marvel Legends X-Men blue and yellow team uniform 3-packs. I'll do those on back-to-back nights. Probably Wednesday, Thursday, but possibly Tuesday, Wednesday. Hit the notification button if you want to know when they're gonna happen. Let's see what we got here. Austin says, got those legions all packed, keeping Vorthog for myself. Vorthog is a great figure and probably the coolest orc figure in Mythic Legions. Quip said that's fair. If you get weird with any figure, it'll look odd. Yeah. I mean, you can get. I saw. I can't even remember whose shot it was, but I saw a really great shot of Mythic Legions, and it was. I think it was Hadriana and Balius, like Hadriana leading Balius, but the way they had the arm bent, made it look really unnatural and very much like a toy. So that's the thing, is that like, depending on what you're doing with it, how you get the shot, how you get the angle, you can make a really good toy look bad. And Hadriana doesn't even have crazy good articulation. So they kind of forced it a little bit, and it looked janky. So, you can do it with great articulation or with bad articulation. Austin may unload some other legions, so I need to make room for new edgy new legions. Michael, did you pre-order the retailer wave, the Mythic Legions Mythic Legions retailer appreciation wave? Yes, I did. I ordered 3 of the 4. I've already got a Hagnon, so I didn't order Hagnon. I ordered the Elf, I ordered Father Christmas, and I ordered the Headless Horseman. Master Versa says, I have the G.I. Joe Classified movie Baroness coming soon. That is a very underrated figure. That whole movie line, I think, had great figures, but because people dumped on the movie, I think the figures just were kind of, I think they were sort of unfairly maligned due to the fact that the movie wasn't what people wanted or expected or whatever. I still, I watched that movie again for the umpteenth time recently. I still think it's a pretty fun movie. Is it a great G.I. Joe movie? No. I think they had sort of an action ninja movie, and they shoehorned G.I. Joe in. I think they probably, like, it feels to me like they had an existing script, and they're like, okay, now make it so that it's Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. That's genuinely how I feel about it. Master Versal says, I have Storm Shadow of that line also. Yeah, they're great figures. I got spares of Akiko, I got spares of Baroness, and I got spares of Scarlet because they're great fodder figures. There's not a ton of female figures, so they make for really great fodder. And because they made so many of them and people just didn't buy in, they go for pretty cheap. Masterverse is still waiting on Serpentor. I keep saying Masterverse. Eldor is waiting on a Serpentor from a fellow in Australia. Eldor, I also saw that there's an Australian retailer doing the Mythic Legion's retailer appreciation wave for prices that looked to be pretty decent. I don't know what the Australian dollar does compared to the New Zealand dollar, but they looked pretty decently priced. I don't know how much cheaper. I can only assume it's cheaper to get something from Australia than it is from the US. But Austin is ducking out. He's got to go print shipping labels. Good night to you, sir. We're going to be wrapping up here anyway. We've got these unboxed, and you know, I want to get to playing with them. So as I always say, guys, it's way more fun to open toys with friends. So I totally appreciate you guys being here. Please hit that like button if you haven't already, and the subscribe button. A lot of familiar names, so I can only assume that you've already subscribed. So I appreciate that. Thank you for that. I don't normally, I genuinely sort of don't care about the numbers, but you know, numbers do help to kind of unlock some stuff as far as YouTube goes and as far as sort of what we can do with the channel. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said, with all the other live streams and all the other really good channels out there, I appreciate that you guys are slumming it here with me. So thank you for joining me, and we'll talk to you again all very, very soon. Bye-bye.